We are on our way to see my dear friend Count Luigi De Ciani, owner of one of the most beautiful villas in all of Friuli. His kindness has given him a special place in my heart, and his story will open yours. The villa is about an hour from us, and normally when I drive up to see him, the gates of the Villa Gallici De Ciani automatically swing open. But this time I find Luigi gesturing to us from behind bars. And when I get out, I discover that he wants us to drive to another entrance which he just recently created. And I remember that Luigi being Luigi, things are always never quite straightforward. Luigi has a philosophical bent, and when I see him, the first thing he says is clearly something which is really on his mind.
Who are there are nice, or the place makes the people nice?
I think that the place makes the people nice.
I think so.
It's a place that I used
But
to...
even the other way around, because look, for instance, I don't know if I have to say it or not, but there are some stunning places, magnificent castles in the most scenic places where
And they're horrible.
horrible things happen.
Yeah, and they're also horrible.
No, they are still interesting, impressive, or whatever.
This is Luigi De Ciani.
Sorry.
This is because of this
That's
man.
me. I'm sorry. So am I. Like it or not like it, that's...
It's because of Luigi that we are in Friuli, because we met 20 years ago. So we thought that the best thing to do is to come and to introduce Luigi to you with his beautiful villa and to learn a lot more about what's happening with his life, because believe me, there are a lot of layers and layers and layers that we'll be discovering over the next 15 minutes. So let's start again. The Villa Gallici De Ciani is one of the most magical places I know. It overlooks the town of Montagnaco, perched on this hill that's nestled between the backdrop of the Alps and the Adriatic Sea. And this is Luigi, Count De Ciani, as he's often seen by the thousands of lucky couples who've come here for nearly 40 years to celebrate the most special day of their life, their wedding. But weddings can be a lot of work. So you're going to tell today that you were actually mowing this lawn, weren't you?
I am doing this on my own, and I am pretty
He
proud
mows
of
his
it.
own lawn. I mean,
I'm
really.
being- You see, you come from here and you see the villa, and
So just, I mean, look at this. Look. The setting is fairy tale-like. A beautiful couple getting married in the local church, and then as the church bells peal across the valley, the wedding party makes its way toward the beautiful villa on the hill, where the dinner and festivities are ready to begin. And it's not only the setting and the outside of the villa which is beautiful. Inside, the fairy tale continues, with a large atrium which is perfect for receptions and concerts, and above, around the balcony, are the rooms where guests can stay. The villa, which was left to Luigi by his father, who died when he was 1, was in a terrible shape when he inherited it. It had been used as a base for American troops just after the war, and was abandoned until he and his wife Pisana took it over and lovingly restored it. So basically, the rooms were named Room A, Room B, Room
Barroom,
C,
barroom.
because it was the bar room. And what Luigi was saying is this is where they used to just kind of
Use
throw
it
their
like a
knives,
darts,
like
or
a
probably
dartboard.
to hang their jackets.
I mean, can you imagine?
But they also use this to make their gatherings, their dance parties. And in order to decorate the interiors, and also to disinfect probably, they thought it was worth painting everything.
Yeah.
And one of them, who was more creative, decided to use the color of the regiment, which was named Blue Devils.
Oh no.
So you guess what is
no.
the color? It's the color that you can see here. In some parts, just like, but I will take it out again.
After Luigi and Pisana got married, they decided to transform the villa into a luxury wedding and event venue. It was a labor of love for both of them. It took years of dedication, endless hours, and Pisana's inheritance to renovate the 45-acre estate, which included the villa and all of the outbuildings, as well as rivers and olive groves and honeybees and goats and even horses. They decided to keep all of the history of the villa, and that included being the headquarters of the American infantry. So they kept the doors with their stenciled names intact on the ground floor and hung an American banjo, which must have been left behind, on the walls of the music room. Were these chandeliers also?
Some of them, you know, chandeliers is one of the things that you can hardly judge the age. So an old one can be, or a new one can be very, very much similar to an old one.
Is this a new one?
You guess.
Okay.
Yes, as you like,
Anyway,
whatever makes you happy. No,
it matches. I just think this room is so beautiful.
No,
These are, by the way, if you understand chakras, pink and green is the heart chakra. So that means that this is very much of a heart-based room. They decorated the entire villa with portraits of ancestors, some of whom still make occasional appearances.
Anyway, my mom met him once in the garden just outside the chapel where we have the swimming pool now, and he went to her and he was smiling graciously and greeting her and welcoming in the house.
Nice.
And then he went away. The fact that he died 60 years before that.
Oh, it's a ghost? And other ancestors that are just too ugly to remember.
I have some better one.
I think you've got some better
I will show you some other.
You have some better ancestors elsewhere.
Yes. Let's say that recently the race has improved. If I may say this.
So you've had some very well-known people here.
Well, put it this way. In our house we have a tradition which honors us, that every 90 years we host a member of a European royal family. So now we wait for the next 89 years.
Luigi is one of the most generous people I know. So royalty isn't the only type of people that he hosts.
I also hosted, for instance, during unfortunately, the Ukrainian war, 4 families of Ukrainians. Very distinguished people, by the way. Very interesting, very cultivated, very civilized people.
Look at how beautiful the mountains are from the window.
Oh, I know. Oh, look.
I told you, we are close to the mountains, close to the sea,
It's
close
beautiful.
to the rivers, close to the lakes.
The renovation and the event business was a resounding success, and thousands of couples got married here. There were so many operas and concerts by well-known orchestras, so many private and state visits by presidents of republics and European royalty, that they couldn't keep count. And then, in 1988, while Pisana was pregnant with their daughter Margherita, tragedy struck. She was diagnosed with a deadly and incurable disease, pulmonary hypertension. Her only hope was to undergo a double lung transplant in Vienna.
They were very kind to me in a very special moment of my life where I was really seeking good people to talk. It was a very hard moment.
I met Luigi at a dinner in Vienna, and it was the night that his wife Pisana was having a lung transplant. And everyone, including Pisana, was pretty much sure that she wasn't going to make it because it was a very rare thing to be able really to survive a lung transplant at that time. And you can imagine, I mean, Luigi was on his phone every 2 seconds finding out how things were, what was going to happen. And I said to you, look, I'm oftentimes not in Vienna, and you were in Vienna a lot. And I said, look, I can just give you the keys to my flat, and you can stay whenever you want. You said, you know, that was so kind of you, you didn't even know me.
But you started first.
Okay. Whatever.
Now, anyway, it was a great sign of solidarity, which anybody can forget. I have to say that everything went miraculously well, successfully well.
Yeah.
And in fact, now this person is called a living miracle.
Pisana told me that when she woke up from the operation, she looked at Luigi and said, "Do we own this villa, or does this villa own us? I have to leave. I'm drowning."
And I must say that my daughter, she said something that I can't forget. She said, "Daddy, that this would be a paradise if it did not belong to us." Yeah. And I think this is what everybody who comes here should have in mind.
really agree. It's a lot of, I mean, the truth behind having a beautiful home like this it's a lot of work, isn't it? Luigi and Pisana were being forced in two different directions. Luigi was, through his upbringing, married to this ancestral villa, and Pisana, because of her health, was being forced to leave and start something new. And so we became partners in transition. I was in transition too. I had recently divorced, and there was a book inside of me that had to be born, and so I took up Luigi's offer of becoming writer in residence. This is where, 20 years ago, I came to live for the winter time when there was no weddings and things, and I wrote my first book here.
Do you recognize it?
I do. Hello, little house. It's changed. Oh, it's pretty. And I had my office space there. It was a very nice place to write. And I would go for a walk every day, and I would go up to the Pineta and do my yoga. La Pineta is a place right up on the hill. I think that it's very, very, very old because I used to drag my yoga mat up there, and I had sessions up there. I taught yoga up there. With Pisana's mother, we actually had yoga up there. It's a wonderful place to meditate, and it was a place that I had to visit every day that I was here. So come up and we'll experience it ourselves. So back to Luigi's question he posed when we arrived. Is it the place that makes the people, or the people that make the place? All I know is that up here, I can still feel the same indescribable sense of peace that I felt 20 years ago.
Isn't it a lovely spot? I can see why you like being here. And I can really feel the mountains. I guess I feel better when I'm close to those very big, dramatic mountains. It's something about them is calming. And it's so green here. It's just, I think it's one of the most beautiful spots I've seen in a very, very long time.
Isn't it magical here? And also what you can... Okay, you can hear the traffic way, way far away. But also I could swear I hear the mountains talking. And the villa down there. And these are some of my favorite trees, the umbrella pines. Anyway, and the blue of the sky. And you can even see there's the moon is over there. Can you see over there? Yeah, but you know, it's really interesting when you come back somewhere where you used to live. And I think that you have so many memories of it that it's hard to see it today because you're still seeing it with your eyes from yesteryear. And I have this feeling inside of me of this, it's kind of this tug and pull a bit because the house is beautiful and seeing Luigi and it's beautiful. But Luigi and Pisana are no longer together. She's living in Udine, he's living here. And, you know, the place is always, it's not as it was. Of course, how can it be as it was? And I'm not who I was 20 years ago when I wrote it. So it's interesting that it makes me think that we need to keep on going forward with life. Or I've had to do that and not get caught in old memories of saying, oh yes, this is how I wanted to live, or this is the most wonderful part of my life. Because life constantly changes and constantly changes. And it's constantly pushing you forward. That's what's happening with me. So if I would want to say anything to you, I'd say, you know, don't be afraid of what's happening around the corner that you can't see. You know, because it will be something else. It will be a different chapter of your life. And that's also a part of, you know, starting afresh. Not knowing what's around the corner and being okay with it. So it was both Luigi and Pisana's spontaneous kindness who brought me here. First Luigi 20 years ago, and more recently Pisana, who invited both of us here when we were looking for a home. I hope to share what Pisana's gone on to achieve in one of my future videos, but I'm glad that you got to know the amazing Luigi, who has accepted his fate and the villa with a good sense of stoic humor.
People are married to ugly people and they still remain with them. for one reason or the other. I do the same, with the difference that I am married to a nice villa.
So it's chance encounters can change lives, actually, can't they? Or are they chance? That's the question.
Indeed.
Luigi is still running events from the villa, so if you'd like to enjoy the comfort and luxury for your wedding or holiday, follow the link to his website in the description of my video. I'm glad you're joining us on our journey learning how to start afresh in life and to discover a new way of being with yourself and with the world that makes it healthy, fun, and meaningful all at the same time. So subscribe to the channel and press the like button. And thanks for watching.